There are two types of maintenance. There is preventative maintenance and corrective maintenance. Preventative maintenance is when you proactively replace something or repair something based on its age and a reading of its health. Meaning that preventative maintenance would be replacing your car battery because it's 4 years old and you took some basic electrical reading measurements on it and it was showing that the voltage was starting to come down a little bit. The battery was still operational, it would still start the car, but based on the age mainly and maybe based on that electrical reading, you are trying to prevent you from being in a situation where your car battery dies and you're stranded or you have to call a tow vehicle. So preventative maintenance is a proactive way using age or other metrics to determine that I want to proactively repair or replace something because of everything has a lifespan, and there's certain data that can tell us that things are in jeopardy of failing soon, but we don't know the exact date when they would fail. Corrective maintenance, the second type, corrective maintenance is when you basically wait for something to fail. You wait for the day you start your car and for the battery to fail, and then you will correct the situation. You'll replace it then. Now you may get another year, 2 years or more out of the battery. So some people figure, well, I'm going to stretch it out as long as I can and do the majority of my maintenance in a corrective manner rather than a preventative manner. And when I was a building engineer and I oversaw infrastructure, generators, UPS systems, etc., that's how engineers, building engineers and firms work, is they look at major infrastructure equipment and they determine by the age is a major factor, just like you, right? So if you go to the doctor and you say, I want a knee replacement, or you want any surgery, they look at your age to see if you're a candidate for that surgery. They look at your age, that's a major metric. They say, well, all right, the average lifespan is 80. This person's 95 years old. They want a knee replacement and a hip replacement. It may be too dangerous to put them under the knife because their heart may not be able to recover from the surgery. They're too old and it's not worth the risk. So some things you don't do because of age. Again, like blood pressure for a human would be another metric. So you go, well, based on your age and your blood pressure and based on your cholesterol levels, we're using that data to say that this is too risky of a thing to do with you. And so that's used when talking about a person. When you're talking about car maintenance, it's the same thing. You're looking at the age of your equipment, which in your operator's manual, it will read out a list of things to basically do in a preventative way of maintenance as far as based on age and mileage. For car maintenance, the age of your car, the age of the piece of equipment in your car, and the mileage on your car are the two major metrics that you look in determining should you proactively perform preventative maintenance, or do you want to take a little extra risk to try to prolong the life of the thing without paying money and wait for it to fail. Preventative and corrective maintenance is two ways of looking at how you want to do car maintenance, how you want to spend your money. And when you're living full time in your car, you need to know these things. And you need to think about the age of the equipment, the mileage you have, and other metrics, whether it's the voltage reading on your battery, looking at your manual to see when does the manufacturer recommend it. And then you make an informed decision. And that's how you go to a car dealership or a car shop. And when you get a quote, you're not just going there blind, uninformed. You are an informed, customer. Doesn't mean you're always going to make the right decision. It doesn't mean there's an exact science. You can't say, okay, my brakes are 3 years old, I have 100,000 miles on it. It automatically means I should replace them. Not necessarily. I recently replaced my brakes. They're 3 years old. They had 120,000 miles on them. But guess what? When they took the tires off, there was still meat left on those brake pads. So you have to look at some of this information. Of course, use Google, research, but maintenance is an aggravating thing because none of us want to do it. It takes us out of our routine. We have to spend money. No one wants to get out of their routine. No one wants to spend money. But living in your car, you have to be conscious And I think even more conscious of preventative maintenance, replacing your battery after a certain amount of years, replacing your tires, your brakes, rotors, struts, different things like that. Not necessarily all preventative, but a lot of ways as a preventative measure to kind of ensure, there's no guarantees, kind of ensure that you overall have a safe and operational vehicle, because your vehicle is your form of transportation and your form of shelter when you live in your car full time and you're a traveler, you're nomad, etc. And when you have to give your car to a repair shop, you feel like you lose all your independence because this is your everything. And I understand that. And that's why if you can plan to do a lot of preventative maintenance, then when you can plan to do it, you drop your car off early, you can plan to get it back that same day. But a lot of times when you do corrective maintenance, there's no plan. Like you're stranded on the side of the road and you have to get towed somewhere, and now you don't know how long it's going to take for them to look at your car, to order parts. That's the problem with corrective maintenance. Because when I just did preventative maintenance, when I replaced my brake pads, I went a week in advance. They had to order the parts. That took a couple days, and then I scheduled a day, dropped it off early, got it the same day back later afternoon. Now, if all of a sudden you just wait for them to go bad, they're going to take your car to the dealership. They may have to order parts. That may take a couple days. So that's 2 days there, another day to repair it. So now you're 3 days without a car doing corrective maintenance rather than 2 days, rather than getting your car back the same day doing preventive maintenance. So there's no exact science. Again, life is not an exact science, and some people are cheaper than others. Some people stretch out equipment longer than others. There's no right or wrong answer. But I'm sharing with you an important thing, or important things to think about when you have to consider car maintenance. When you live in your car, you got two options: preventative or corrective maintenance. Research, look in your user manual, collect data, get quotes, and make an informed decision. And no one likes to spend money, guys, but sometimes you have to for managing your risk living full-time on the road. All right? Peace and love.